Everything went black around his face, and I came all the way across the line, boom, and I punched him one time and knocked the dude out.
What you gonna do?
My name is Tyrone Swan, and I was a Soul Train dancer from 1972 to 1975. I was born and raised primarily in Los Angeles, California, City of the Angels. Spent a little time, a few years in Houston, Texas, my mom's hometown. It was an interesting mix of influences. I grew up in South Central. My breed of human really wasn't that popular at the time, so I used to have to fight a lot starting at like 3, 5 years old. But my mom always protected me. Eventually we evolved and ended up on the West Side and, played ball and, enjoyed life. The brothers had rhymes about guys that were my color, and they were kind of mean, okay? I mean, you can't help the way you're born, right? Especially when you're a child, 3, 5 years old. When I was younger, I had cousins that danced, and I really couldn't get the groove yet. They made fun of me because I liked the Beatles, and I was supposed to like the Temptations. Then Soul Train came along. I was stuck. I was stuck in love with Soul Train from the age of 12. I did take dance classes later, after Soul Train. I took jazz class with a girlfriend of mine that also danced on the show. That was a lot of fun, but that really just helped me athletically, stretching, ball playing, and this type of thing. But basically, it was just all self-taught. We had a family friend named Andre Johnson who had no interest in dancing on Soul Train. He knew I was a fiend. I was a fanatic for the show. Everybody rushed home at 12:30 on Saturday to watch the show. He had a friend named Gary Keys, one of the nicest human beings I've ever met. He told Gary about me, said I was, a 15-year-old kid, big afro, cute kid, whatever, loved to dance, dying to go on Soul Train. And Gary Keys got me on Soul Train for the first time. There was no audition for me. No, I just walked right in. And boy, what a day that was. The first person I met was Patricia Davis. And Patricia Davis was, like the queen of Soul Train. And she walked up and she said, "Hi, Gary." He said, "Oh, hey, Pat. Oh, this is my friend Tyrone Swan. This is Patricia Davis." I said, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" I was immediately nervous as heck, right? Because I'm a kid. I'm not used to none of this. So Gary asked Patricia, "What's going on?" She said, "We're getting ready to shoot the Soul Train." I don't even have a partner. And he looked at her, looked at me, and he said, "You want to dance with Tyrone?" And she kind of looked me up and down and she said, "Sure." And he said, "You want to dance with Patricia down the line?" I said, "Sure." Okay. I was terrified. No kidding. When the Soul Train lines are unfolding, there's 2 lines, right? One camera, another camera, 2 lines, and that creates the continuity. Literally, when the light came on for me and Patricia, I thought I was gonna die. I mean, it was like my heart and my soul just disappeared. Somehow, when I look back at the clip, I was actually moving and dancing. But I was so nervous. I talk about like major stage fright to the nth degree. I was terrified. Somehow I got through it. Oh. You're a kid, you get to be on TV. Everybody's watching the show. It was just a lot of fun. And I got to be away from home for an entire weekend during the month. It was just a great experience for a kid. All the fine women. I went to a university high school at the time, and most people would try to sort of ignore you, act like nothing's going on, but there was a lot of attention, sometimes negative attention from dudes because you were so popular, and a lot of positive attention from, females. had a couple of dance partners, but the one that sticks out in my mind is a young lady named Diane Bruner. And we seemed to just have great chemistry and great energy together, and they tended to keep us together. But it was probably Diane Bruner was my main dance partner. My personal style, very mod, and I would say flashy, because I was known for a couple of outfits. My mom bought me a gold lame suit on Sunset one day. And then we went to swap meet. Don't tell anybody. Okay, we went to swap meet and we got this gold body chain that had this big blue stone in the middle, looked like an emerald. And I wore this body chain with this gold lame suit. It was rocking. It was rocking. I'm telling you, it was killing. I walked on set, it was like, whoa. Of course, you can't rerun an outfit like that, but I did have some knickerbockers. A girlfriend of mine in high school, she made me some knickerbockers. She cut them off and folded them and so forth. And I ended up wearing the body chain with the jacket again and so forth. And then we used to take and we put rhinestones and studs on our clothes. And you'll see a clip of me on some dance where I have actually SOULTRAIN written in studs on my pants. And they actually did a close-up of that while I was dancing. So, you know, I was pretty unique.
We were in, Greensboro, North Carolina. We stayed up all night listening to Eddie expound on the different signs of the zodiac. And he may not have known what he's talking about, and I haven't figured out whether or not it was valid, but it sounded so convincing, Eddie.
Well, they say as long as it sounds convincing, it must be.
We'd like to turn the questioning over to the SOULTRAIN gang.
Tyrone, I'd like to know, out of all the places that you have performed, where have you found the best audiences?
Wherever they received me at the best.
My first impression of Don Cornelius was he was very masculine and he was very aloof. He seemed very unapproachable. So you didn't want to try to encroach in his space at all. But overall, he was pretty nice. There was an incident once where Pam Brown was going to make me leave. I showed up to a taping, and Pam was like, he's not on the list. It was a thing about, if your name is not on the list, come in, right? And I showed up, and Pam was going to make me leave, and I was like, okay. Don Cornelius came over, and he said, Pam, he can stay. You know, that was it. And I was like, thank you, Don, thank you. And I think that was the day James Brown was on. So I got to see James Brown live.
And we'd like to meet two members of our SOULTRAIN gang.
Lisa Baldwin.
Hi, Lisa.
Carl Grigsby.
How you doing, Carl?
There was a guy named Carl Grigsby. We had gotten along throughout our time there on SOULTRAIN. But this girl that I had dated in high school came on the show and was his partner. We had no hard feelings. I had no hard feelings for her being there, whatever. But for some reason, Carl was mean to me that Saturday. And he was saying rude things to me. Now, Carl was a grown man. He was 22. I was 16. He was saying really, really nasty things to me. And I could not, why? Because we were always cool, right? So I was on my way home with my friend Dwayne Bonner and a really cool dude named Robert DeBlanc. Very good-looking musician guy. And Robert, I told him what was going on. I said, I don't know why this guy's bothering me. And Robert DeBlanc stuttered. And he told me, man, if I was you, the next time he says something to you, I would just knock him out. I laughed about it, didn't pay it no more attention. Next day, Sunday, we're filming the SOULTRAIN lines. I'm in one line, he's in the other line. For some reason, sometime when they're shooting, there's technical difficulties and go, oh, cut, you gotta start over. So I was coming down the line with my partner and we were getting going. It was a real hot song, might have been an Earth, Wind & Fire song, can't really remember exactly because everything went black. And we cut. And when we cut, I said out loud, oh, dang, I was just getting going. And from the other line of male dancers, Carl Grigsby said, they cut the shot because they didn't want two witches coming down the line together. Everything went black around his face, and I came all the way across the line, boom, and I punched him one time and knocked the dude out. And his cousin, Leonard, who I'm still friends with, was buff at the time. He was a bodybuilder. And I wanted to kill the guy because I was nuts. At that point, he'd pushed me past my limit. Leonard just picked me up. He said, man, you already knocked him out, man. After he recovered, Don took us in the back. We were both very popular dancers, so I guess Don didn't want to kick us off. We were waiting in a waiting room together, not saying anything. Don Cornelius walked in, and he said, man, why y'all want to F up my show? And, I jumped in. I said, Don, I don't want to do anything. I said, he's just been messing with me, call me names. He's a grown man. I'm just a kid, but I didn't mean to mess up your show. I don't want to do anything that's going to cause a problem because they expect that out of us. They expect that. I said, well, I apologize. And that was the end of it. Y'all go back out there. I don't want no more mess. That was the end of it.
Yes, my name is Tyrone Swan, and I'd like to know if at the start of your career you were inspired by any one person or any group of people.
I was too busy ringing her bell.
My favorite artists, they were all there. Everyone was there. Marvin Gaye came, and Al Green, Average White Band, Patti LaBelle. I was 17 years old. Patti LaBelle was so fine to me. And during the break, I started talking to her, and I asked her, I said, can I have your phone number? And she said, how old are you? And I said, I'm 17. She said, you ain't nothing but a baby. And I said, I can't help when I was born. Can I have your number? And she said, let's talk about it later, baby. And that was the end of it. But I remember having a major infatuation with Patti LaBelle. I never did the scramble board. I couldn't understand. Every weekend, I was thinking, maybe this is my week to do the scramble board. I never got to do it. Well, I wasn't about to ask Don much about anything like that. I was not going to ask it. A couple people that got picked up for TV shows and this and that. I didn't really go that path. Another funny thing that occurred because of Soul Train was on my first day, besides being terrified going down the line with Patricia, this guy named Steve Manning, he was a publicist for the Jackson 5. He was friends with Gary Keys. He came on the show and he said, oh, the Jacksons are having a party tonight. If you want to come, Gary, you're invited. That's how Steve Manning talks. So Gary said, okay, hey, Tyrone, you want to go to a party at the Jackson's house? I said, sure. I said, I went to school with them. And I did. I went to Emerson Junior High. Marlon Jackson was in my history class. And LaToya Jackson all went to Emerson at the same time, 71, 72-ish. And we went to their house for a party. And it was a lot of fun. I got to see how rich kids live, I did do some write-on magazines. I did several. Here's a funny story. The first time I was going to write-on magazine, I was 16 years old. I was on Santa Monica Boulevard. And coming this way, stopped at the red light. I looked over in a yellow Corniche convertible. It was Diana Ross and her two daughters. And I've never been starstruck because I've been around stars my whole life. I totally started screaming, oh my God, it's Diana, oh my God, it's an omen. I'm going to shoot this thing. I'm going to do big things. Lost my mind. Then I did a really nice layout with Vicki Abercrombie. We did a really nice layout. And then we did a group layout with Demita Joe, Little Joe, I think Vicki Darnell Williams, and myself. We had a lot of fun, and they gave us piles of fan mail. They had received so much fan mail. Some people had a little bundle, and some people had a big bundle. Little Joe Chisholm, who I love, he was a great friend of mine. He had 2 shoeboxes full of mail. Then they came out, and they had a box this tall and this wide and this wide for me. It was 2,000 letters in that box, and I literally read them all and responded to some of them. Some people left their phone numbers, call, collect. I would love to talk to you. So it was a lot of fun. Write-On magazine was a lot of fun.
My name is Tyrone Swan, and I'd like to know who wrote Skin Tight, and when you were recording it, did you think it was going to be as big of a success as it is?
It's a long question, but all of it's true. We didn't, for real.
Two and a half years. Well, for some reason, when I turned 18, it didn't feel right anymore because I felt like there should have been some compensation for the dancers. I guess I was pretty smart for my age because I just felt like there should have been some compensation for the dancers. Don Cornelius was pulling up in a Corniche convertible and I was hitching a ride. Not that I deserved a Corniche because it was his show, but I thought there should have been some compensation. I just said, I'm gonna move on in my life and left it. It was actually my 18th birthday was my last taping. After I stopped dancing on SOULTRAIN, I went to college for a short while, and studied dance, modeled, tried my hand at modeling. I went to New York, went and saw all of the agencies, and didn't have much luck. Again, I was kind of in a time warp there. At least I was told by a lot of agencies that I was black by the standards of what they considered black, but I wasn't black enough, and I wasn't white enough. And then I wasn't old enough, because you come back when you got some wrinkles on your face. I was told a lot of different things, and just enjoyed life, you know. I was kind of a bad boy. I know you can't tell, you know. I had my own business. I'm an artist. You know, I write poetry and I do calligraphy. I had a calligraphy business for many, many years. Then I started doing some art direction. I art directed several albums for The Deal. You remember The Deal, Babyface? I actually art directed his first album cover, The Lovers by Babyface. Then I ended up getting married and, you know, just live life. My entire focus throughout my life is a thread of taking care of myself and trying to maintain what the Creator gave me and not allow myself to go downhill. And that's the theme in my poetry writing, that's the theme in my life, it's the theme in what I do now as a fitness coach and a physical therapist, which is what I do now. I help a lot of people, a lot of elderly people in their 80s, 90s, you know, celebrities. I'm very happy with the evolution of my life. Now I'm a method actor, which is something I wish I had learned back in my 20s, because it is the most powerful, it's the most revealing, and the most empowering thing I've ever done. Because, like I said, I was kind of a bad boy, kind of a playboy a little bit. And when you're living a life like that, you're hiding a lot. But method acting peels back the layers and makes you expose yourself. I think it's been very good for my personality and for my overall, you know, development as a person.
Oh, what you gonna do? Do you wanna get down? Oh, what you gonna do? Get your back up off the wall.
Would I do it again? Yeah, I would do it again. Because, you know, it was a sense of belonging. Like I really felt like, you know, I belonged to something. SOULTRAIN was a very impactful show because, first of all, you got to see black people every week having fun. That was an anomaly in, what was it, 69, 70? And a black person was the host and the producer. That was a big deal. It meant that, you know, we could do something. If we wanted to do something, it can be done. You know, you just need the right idea and put the package together. On the evolution side, there's been, you know, a lot of other shows that I'm sure played off of that seed of SOULTRAIN.
Come on and get down on it if you really want it.